Hi, everyone. Yay. Happy October. Hello, lovely people. Let's see. How are you all? I see many of you here. Thank you. Why don't you let us know you're here? I'd love to see who is in this month. So happy October, everyone. I hope you are good. I am, I don't know, energy is vacillating, running around kind of emotionally ups and downs on energetic level, not emotional like as in like crying or things like that. Well, maybe some of us are, but just feeling these pockets of intensity. And you have to forgive me. I had an issue with my eye and I think it's better. Okay. My contacts. So, just the vacillation of these pockets of energy that I'm absolutely feeling, and I think obviously kind of collectively we're feeling these things. Good morning. Hi, Jenna. Hi, Susan. So happy you're here. Thanks for saying hi. I love it when you guys say hi. I love it that you're showing up. I love it. Thank you so much for those of you who can make it live. And every month I always say thank you for all of you who listen again and watch again. And for those of you who can't make it live to play the recording and the replay, I'm so grateful that we're still getting to do this together. So I was feeling like, oh boy, like I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to pull a card. I'm like, where am I at? How can I get more grounded? Take some breaths, as Laura reminded me. Hi, Laura. Thank you for helping me get on here today. And, well, we've got lots of things that are brewing. I think, hi, Zonia. I think that lots of things that we are collectively going through individually, we're also going through so many things. But I wanted to get a little like connected to just energies and spirit and connection. So I'm going to pull a card for sort of our collective agreement intention to support and hold the container today. We'll see what we come up with. I'm using the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck, which I love. And we are Keepers of the Light. And where was that? Where was I? I'm going to share with you how that sometimes works for me. I think I have before, but a lot of times in the 24 hours, especially, and then the morning of before we're doing our live group channeling, I start to get like these packets of info. Sometimes there'll be little phrases or a word or a theme or an idea, but I know that it's Osairah talking to me. And then sometimes if I have the time, I sit down and meditate. I am not able to every single time full on go into a meditation before we do our channeling here today. But I got this little hit or theme. What was it? I'm trying to pull it back in. There it is. A little phrase like that we are really, like as in many lifetimes that we have lived before, we are in this time holding the light in the dark places. And that was sort of the little packet theme that I got. Holding the light in the dark places. And, I think there's a lot of collective conversation and feeling and tonality in the general, not only in the U.S. and the public political and divine feminine and the masculine, the way we're working stuff out and trying to balance things. There is a deep call to carry the light and hold the light in the face of what seems like, in so many ways, a lot of darkness, heaviness, almost destruction of things, and I don't want to say institutions, but like the connection to how it is we have been doing things. And I know that that's up. It's up for review in all of our lives. We are really, really revamping and redoing our lives, actually. So even if you're living your life and you're thinking, well, I'm not really doing much, Grace, or, I'm not making any sweeping big changes, there is an inner thing that is happening collectively for us all. And so when we finally tune in to those places in our own lives where there is a needed or a necessary revamping, that call is really being pushed into the experience around us and then inwardly. So like with the majority of everyone I'm working with, I'm hearing how it is that there is a revolution happening inside of their own self, inside their lives, whether or not that's like and it sounds so simple, but you guys know it could be your closet. I've talked about my closet for years, right? Like we can be redoing our closet on any level. And that is really what's happening. We're collectively pulling out the things that no longer are going to work as we step into a full-blown new world, new paradigm, new agreements, new contracts, new relationships, all these ways that we are getting ourselves prepared to take these bigger, bolder stands for what and who we are, how we've come to be the light in the dark places, so that that light literally transforms and transmutes, alchemizes into us having a new experience and a new life and a new world. So that's just some of my thoughts on this conversation today. I've been also feeling a little bit of a kind of a new ways that I want to do our conversations here on a regular basis. I love Osairah and the way we do it. Of course, I pulled this one card. I'm going to pull another one for us too. I'll show you in a second. But I'm feeling like a little bit of I want to call it a sort of a change up energy. So there's a little shifting that may start to happen in our dialogues here, how we do our calls. I'd love it if you all invite some other people to our calls. We have a lot of people who are on the list who get the recording, but who can't come during our 11 o'clock hour Pacific time. So, but it's always so good that you're here. So thank you. So the first card that I pulled, which is I pulled this card on Saturday. It's Joan of Arc, Voice of Truth. And stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. I even posted this on my Facebook page that I pulled this card, which is probably, I don't know, it could possibly be the first time I ever posted a card that I pulled for like my own kind of personal reading that day, because it was so significant in what is kind of going on in the collective and for me. And so Joan of Arc, Voice of Truth, stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. I think that is really what is happening collectively, so that we can shift the agreements. Because when we stand in our truth, we make choices differently. We stand in a new way. So I love that one. I think we'll go ahead and carry that one we'll carry the Voice of Truth throughout this this channeling, and I'll pull another one, and it is 11:11, and so it's perfect. Phases and cycles. Freya. Phases and cycles. There is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. Now, I don't think I'll go into the whole, I'm going to put them over here. Let's see. We want them up, if they'll stay up. We'll do 2 today. So, okay. And as usual, if there's any questions. Oh, thank you, Jana. At 11:18 Pacific time, there's supposed to be a loud emergency test alarm on all of our phones. I heard it on the news this morning. Okay, good to know, right? So I guess all of our phones will probably go off. I guess the only way that doesn't, I don't know. Here's a good question. Does that go off when your phone is on either airplane mode or actually turned off? I wonder. So according to my clock, we have 5 minutes until then. Well, we could ask everybody to turn off your phones. Because I don't want to.
Well, nobody else will be heard except for in their own space, except for yours. So maybe if you just put yours in airplane mode, because do you use your phone as a timer?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know how long the emergency sound will be, but maybe if you just switch it to airplane mode, and we'll hope that it's not an interruption. And if it is, I guess everyone can mute. Well, I don't know.
I know. Let me see. I'm just gonna. Well, I think it's just about me. So I. Well, you know what? It's okay if. Here's what I'm going to say. If I'm going to put it on airplane mode. Well, it always is, and I'm going to put it on airplane mode, and my alarm will go off. But if they hear it, we won't worry about it. They'll turn it off, and I'm just basically telling them, and they'll know that the whole time it's not up. Okay. Sorry for all these complications, guys, but thank you, Jenna, for letting us know. Okay. So sorry. What were you going to say, Laura?
Oh, I'll just, I was going to say, how did you know I was going to say something? What was I going to say? If anybody has a question that they know that they will be asking, it would be wonderful if you typed it in advance, just because there's often a little bit of a lag between when Osairah ends and people starting to type in their questions. And I totally understand if questions are coming up sort of in the moment, that's a different case. But if you just know there's a burning question, it'd be wonderful to have one ready to rock.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm just going to get started. We'll see what they have to say and who comes and all of that. All right. Okay. Happy channeling. Indeed, greetings to you, dear ones. We are that one known as Osairah, and we are, in fact, overjoyed to be in this alignment with you. We are indeed recognizing you. We are recognizing the way in which the configuration is moving through the energetic experience of all the beings in participation, what you would say in the now moment, and also what you would say in the future moments of your timeline. We are recognizing the way in which the energy is shifting your consciousness, some of what it is that our beloved channel has been participating in conversation about. We are recognizing to say to each and every one of you, your hearts are seen. We are recognizing to say that there is a great balancing of energies happening upon your planet. That is true. We are recognizing to say that we are at the beginning with you in this day. What we mean by that is we are not kind of connecting to different themes from previous times. We're just starting here with you this day. Dropping in, you could say, directly in this moment of your experience, just as a clean slate. The reason why we say that is because you are indeed and have been accessing many, how should we say that, tunnels. We're going to kind of particularly speak about them as if you have been walking through particular tunnels that have led you to a new room, to a new day, to a new experience, to a new out picturing of your creation potential. And this is where you are now recalibrating in this new room, this new potential creation calibrating room. You have landed in a kind of way. Now there is a kind of readjustment to everything that you have been integrating, everything that you have been shedding and releasing. There is a bit of a restructuring that is happening. We will say even directly in these next 6 weeks in particular, you are shifting and changing and dropping out and clearing off these last pieces that are making their stand for how it is you want to carry energies and hold yourself in a lifetime, in a way, in this particular lifetime, in a way that is the highest purposes for your soul's incarnation. This is another aspect of what we wish to speak on, the soul's incarnation choices, the ways in which you have come to be, how many of the previous timelines that you are carrying to, how should we say that, reveal more to yourself as you wake yourself up of what it is that this life really is about. And the ways in which you call yourself to attention by way of remembering is your soul's deep call into this particular timeline of experience that you keep reinserting yourself. And what we mean by that is how it is essentially some of you wake up from your experience of sleep time and you say, oh, that's right, this is the life I have. No, we know we have spoken to you about that slightly before. What we are wanting to say about that now, in this now new moment of your experience, is the frequencies that you have indeed integrated, carried, moved through, opened up to, aligned with, and accepted as places and things and feelings and awarenesses and growths and wisdoms and teachings and acceptances that you have called to attention in your life. These things are taking their shape with you. How now that continues to evolve and be revealed in your life is similar to how it is our beloved channel started the conversation by saying that you are calibrating a very strong frequency within your own life to remember that you are the light to be affecting the world at large, the darkness that is in the world at large. Now, when we speak about it, we are speaking about that like that, the way she was, in a contrasting way, the way of duality, the way of light and dark, good and bad, these kinds of thought forms. But what we want to boil down at that point in that essence is how that really is not what it is. It is that there is an actual elevation in all consciousness, not just humanity, that is calling for this great light source that is the oneness of you all to amplify, to literally change the fabric and the reality timeline you choose. Now, one thing we want to say about this is there are many ways that you can walk forward. You can walk forward half in and half out. You can walk forward choosing timelines that give you a little taste of both sides of the equation, essentially, because that is your choice here as a human chooser, and that which you are is a human chooser. You are having your choices, not just of the things you do or implement or make happen in the world, but literally you choose first just your beliefs and your perspectives, right? And so one of the things we want to say about being a human chooser is you have to stand at a place where you have neutrality at first to understand the feeling, the tonation. No, let us back up. The understanding of how you choose that which it is you want to amplify in your perspectives within, in your beliefs within, in that which you hold so strong to that you won't let it go, when maybe there are things that you really ought let go. Some of those things we would say, primarily, first thing, fear. ideas of lack and limitation. The thing we see with our human friends is these constructs of belief hold you down, and you forget that you are an infinite potential creator. You literally are creating life upon life as your life experience in what you look at in the worldly experience, looking like the matrix, for how it is that you speak, how it is that you use words, how it is that you call to attention the pictures, the vibrations, the energetic expressions you take on in the physiological body. How it is that you match that up becomes the creation portal of your life experience. And so we would say step back in some neutrality first before you make those choices. Really get into assessment of how it is you want to co-create your life experience, how it is, what vein of travel you want to be on. And what we mean by that is how it is you are choosing a particular timeline. And what we mean by that is that you can live in a place where you have a little bit of this and a little bit of that for the contrast of options. You can also liberate yourself quite literally and understand from a perspective that grants you the understanding where you see all participations as perfect. And we have talked about this often. We are going to shift in the ways we talk about it because we really want it to settle into your consciousness. We really want you to chew on these nuggets for a while so that they become assimilated within you, and then they spark the light within you to wake you up in that way consciously, so that as you make the choices, you are really recognizing that you are, in effect, the observer of how it is you're playing the game. That if you get that you are the observer playing the game, and you get that you have the opportunity to have a, how should we say, the word. We wanted to call it a timeout, but it's not quite a timeout. A place where you take a respite and you pause. A pause is a great way to say it. Where you pause before you make the leaps of choice. That you recognize how it is that if I choose these ways, what it is I'm offering myself. What it is that I'm offering myself over and over and over again. One of the things what we want to reflect about that has to do with how it is that you are making choices about the belief constructs being put to you out in the worldly experience. You all have the free will choice is what you are, to believe what you want, to hold ideas and opinions the way you choose, the way you want. And we would ask you, look at those ideas, beliefs, look at how it is that you get what you get from those kinds of belief constructs. And when you kind of unhinge some of these, you say, well, is that really true for me? How do I feel about those thoughts I'm thinking? This can unhinge those thoughts a little more freely, and you get a little space, a little distance, a little pause. And when you get that little pause, you can become a kind of a different kind of direct connection to your own choices. So energetically, those choices then line up for how it is you amplify your experience. Now, one of the things we are saying this for is because the more that you are calling in to be the light, that which is going and does change the world, that is not just for the world or other people. That is obviously first and foremost for the frequency of the consciousness that you are, because you cannot be the thing out in the world that you are not within yourself. So all of the things that you are in creation with, every single experience is an actual living opportunity of your own greatest expansion for the transmutation of all the things that are working for and even against you in a way. What we would say is even the against you is always for you. That is a difficult one for some of our human friends when the stakes seem so high, or when the experiences seem so incredibly charged, or when they are so what seems like life and death, or extreme or traumatic. Those kinds of experiences are such an amplification that sometimes people, without the understanding of where it is that that is offering them the greatest liberation within their own experience, they cannot see that for what it is, that there is a perfection and an order to all that is, and that they are collaborating in that co-creation. Well, when you step back and really get wider in your understanding of these kinds of principles and the ways in which you are the participant, in the way that you are such a great manifestor and creator in the experience of your livingness, in the remembrance of the body system, of the experience within the worldly system, of the game that you are playing, which is simply energetics and remembering, you are gaining ground the more you remember that you are the everything. Now, we wanted to say a few things right there, but they are really what we would notice in this collective agreement consciousness and all that is happening in the world. They really are trigger words. So let us be kind and gentle, pausing, not as if we aren't ever all the time, because we really are the words of that, even though we carry absolute neutrality and understand how it is that you are moving through these cycles. We are going to say, with a gentle, loving heart, we are going to say you have all and are all in a certain kind of way the perpetrator and the perpetrated upon. The reason we're bringing that up is because how it is you begin to really digest those things, look at yourself in a, how should we say, balanced, equal way, a way of equanimity, you balance out your own understanding of the truth of all of existence, of all of life. And we are replaying this kind of conversation to a certain degree because even in this time, you are making choices about where you stand and how you will choose the road you go forward on. Now, when we speak about it like this, we are not trying to say, set you up with these ideas about prophecies and what will happen and what won't happen. You are a collaboration of the worldly experience you project onto the screen before you. Pause with that for a moment. Really want you to take that in. Think about that later, we say. Contemplate that, digest that later. So let yourself center into your heart and into your core, into your belly, into your guts, into your remembering, into your intuition, into your creation ability that you have within you, that is the life force of all that exists. Think and feel into that idea. You are constantly projecting your experience into the world through all that is occurring. How it is you see, hear, know what you see, hear, and know. How it is you interact with others and don't interact with others. How it is you view life and you are in the kind of vein of the bubble that you are in. What we mean by vein is like the tunnel. There are certain tunnels that are taking you to the same room, but in the certain tunnels, there is a different experience. Some of the tunnels are extremely tight and limiting and almost too claustrophobic. And maybe too dark, you cannot even see your hand in front of your face. And there are others that are wide open and the track just glides along. And then there are those kinds that are right in the middle, a little bit of all of it. And then there are others that you are literally the tunnel itself is being carved out by you. You have to dig the tunnel, make yourself get to the place that you are going. There are all these variations in a lifetime that you indeed opt for, which gain you so very much. Some of your tunnels have hundreds of people in them with you. And some of those tunnels you have traveled and you have carved out, or you have walked, or have been alighted with so much light, or very heavy in the darkness, have just been a tunnel with you and you. So the variations of the ways in which you move yourself through the corridors of the information that opens you up, of the downloads that be reminded through your own codes of liberation that you called as a soul to be here in this lifetime to affect the whole, is magnificent. It all is magnificent. There is not one tunnel that is actually better than the other. Some of you would disagree. Oh, but Osairah, I would definitely not like to be in the one where I'm having to chisel away with one small tool for the seemingly eternity to get to the main room, to remember all the things that I forgot that I am, to be who I am, to give myself the light quotient that helps me amplify in the body in this lifetime. And we say, we understand that. And yet, the chiseling away that you do sometimes in a life experience on your own in the darkness is the greatest liberation, and can actually lead you then to a pocket where the tunnel has now connected to another tunnel. And then you have another tunnel that you access more swiftly. And then there's others in that tunnel, and it is alighted with even more light or more remembering, or actually a whole new system, a whole new group of people you didn't even know existed. This is what is happening in your collective worldly agreement. This is what is happening for millions and billions of people on this planet at this time. You are collectively moving and shaping the undercurrent, the underground, the underworld of your experience, the subconscious mind and the underworld. It is literally like going into the earth, because she is recalibrating too. There is so much that is happening upon your earthly experience that people are not seeing. That doesn't mean it is all bad. We want to say that because our consciousness, the consciousness of the collective, sometimes jumps into the pool of the idea that it is all so bad. There are so many nefarious beings or nefarious people or nefarious agendas. And yes, indeed, that exists. And yes, indeed, that is not all that is. And yes, indeed, you can choose to plug into those things and kind of feed them and amplify them and have them be a part of your collective agreement or consciousness, to whatever degree that feeds you or serves you too, for whatever changes you decide to change within yourself, because you have plugged into that. Or you can unplug somewhat from that, or even all the way from that, and amplify those kinds of experiences, people experiences, earthly experience of living. Now, what we want to back up with that is about Earth herself. There is a piece here that we want to kind of take a sidebar in, and we want to speak to you about what it is on an energetic level that is happening within your earthly plane and the consciousness of your Earth herself, the mother known as Gaia. This consciousness of Terra energy is moving and shaping the collective landscape conversation on so many levels, and literally moving the landscape of her. She has to change too in her own evolution. It is a part of the agreement, and you are all in on it together. Now, the thing we want to say about that, energetically, there are so many ways. We've touched on this previous time, but we're not. Wow. Okay, then it's fine. Then the conversation moves towards this idea about how it is that there are so many machines, right? There are so much energies for the way, let us see, what do we want to say there? Well, there are so many ways in which your energies of the machines, and the ways that you use technology, the way that you have become into the future, and really you have stepped into something that is a very potent potentiality for life on Earth in a particular vortex of a timeline. And here's what we want to say about that. For those of you who are aware enough to understand that the consciousness of machines is growing, you could say this would be termed in the idea of robots and AI. The thing we want to say about that is that even the machines that produce, move your things, create your things in the world, these things are not the things that you are needing. But we will say those machines that even produce, in a sense, kind of your food. There is energy in everything, dear ones. There is vibrational structuring in everything. You just don't have the eyes right now all the time to see how much these things are all energetic vibrational frequencies interacting with each other. And how they are interacting with each other affects your biological makeup, the ways in which you are coded. Some of of you are affected greater than others. And your sensitivity needs to become more woke up to you, taking good care of your body. Well, we're going to say every one of you, each and every one of you, whoever hears this in all time and all space, please take good care of your body. Give yourself much self-care, love, respect for what it is that this carrying body, this biology does, the psychological, emotional, physiological body that you are, is the earthly experience. Your mind, your spirit, your heart, your soul, energetic frequency is the consciousness that merges heaven and earth. And so the thing we're pointing to is even your food, the food you ingest, is being changed by the way your cultures are so much, as in many Western cultures especially, but the productions of food. Now, we are not just talking of your GMOs, but we are, of course, we are talking also about the energy, the unseen vibrational frequencies that move through and into the structures. Your water has structure, structured water, structured food. Think of an apple, think of a banana, think of an asparagus. They have the water quotient. They have the earthly resonance, for they are born and seeded and grown in the earth. They are a part of a living biology, and very often they are not tended to in the most loving, positive, organic kind of ways. And literally then machines do the work and vibrate energy into your foods. Now, the reason why we're bringing this up is not for you to become then afraid of food. No, 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 no. But simply to remember, let me take a moment with my food and clear the energy. Just like we say to you, clear yourself, take your salt baths. Remember, get the negative ions. Yes, of course, your sage, all of these things, even just your meditation and your asking and connecting to the invisible realms and asking and opening yourself physiologically, biology-wise, clears and opens and clears and helps, and the prayers and all the blessings and all of the things that you do like this absolutely support you in these ways. And yet, remembering to give extraordinary gratitude for the food that gets before you, or the food you buy, or the food you grow, better yet, the food that you make a blessing into your body and into the earth. By those small acts, by giving gratitude to your earth on a regular basis, we say even to put your hands in the earth and to remember who you are, putting in the light and the vibration. Put your hands on the grass or in the dirt and say, thank you, dear ones. Move that energy into the space of the collective earthly love for that which you have agreed to with her, that is shaping the collective potential timelines of her as well. So your physiological body becomes amplified at a higher vibrational rate when you tend to it. So does your earth. When you see things happening upon your earth, there are movements, there are shakings, there are weather pattern changes. Some of those are natural, some of those are man-made. What we would say is, when you see these things, when you hear of these things, send your vibration of love, send your quotient of energy, of absolute amplification of light and blessings, thanking her for all the ways, no matter how that particular weather pattern or change looks, thanking her for her consciousness to understand that there is a greater game being played here and you all are in on it. You just are in the moment, sometimes forgetting, so that you amplify the frequency that is supportive of you being in divine connection in an energetic spirit way, in a matter way, all the ways, so that you are guided, supported, loved, taken care of, and choosing the kinds of timelines that you really want to. Now, when we say want to, does not necessarily mean you won't choose things that might be also somewhat difficult. But if they are, dearest ones, whatever that looks like or shows up in your life for, make the choice to remember This is not a spiritual woo-woo idea. She says sometimes this, oh, blah, blah, blah. Or it is not an idea even for the idea, word, the word. There it is. Spiritual bypassing. It's not that. What we are saying is you amplify that which you put your attention to. So if you are amplifying the idea that a choice you made is the wrong and the bad, and look at me, now I'm suffering, you will feel the consequences. You will experience that then opportunity very, very differently than if you take personal responsibility. There's a key word, phrase, again, taking personal responsibility, say, well, this is interesting. Here I am. Quite a thing I have co-created for myself. What is my greatest opportunity here for the most expansion that I can grow and incarnate this being self? New identity, new ways of living, new ways of seeing this, new ways of co-creating, new ways of moving through this swifter, faster, that give me the greatest opportunity, the biggest bang for my buck in this moment of the experience that I have co-created that I'm not really lacking all that much. This is the same what your earth is doing. She is saying there is a lot of change that must happen so that you wake yourselves up, so that the agreement that we have made amplifies to create more of the quotient of human being soul embodiments to elevate at a higher level, which will amplify. And many years ago, we spoke about the idea of, and we've brought this up before, but we will say it again, the idea of where there was this conversation happening about the Earth A, Earth B, or many different Earth A's or Earth B's. You could go on the alphabet. We don't know. You were speaking about it. There was conversations about it. And what we would say about that is, to a certain extent, yes, but that is more than just one or two Earths, because your own reality is the projection onto the screen, is it not? You are a collaborating creator of the reality experience you are having. So many of you say, we talk to say, well, I sure don't watch the news anymore, Osairah. I learned that lesson a long time ago. We say, yes, and good, and hallelujah, and yet some of those things about what is happening in the collective agreement absolutely make their way into you. And that doesn't mean that's wrong or it should be a different way. But we would offer you the idea of asking yourself, if it makes its way into me, do I still have to accept it? Is there a care that I need to put there? Is there really? Because will these things be working themselves out without you? Will certain things happen in the world if you are not amplifying your energy and attending to it in a hard way because it's a hard thing? We say. The reason why we are asking you to ask yourself these things is because if you look around the experience, yes, billions of you affect change all day long, every single day, without getting involved, without actually getting into the trenches or into the muck. How? Because you hold the vibration, and the vibration of the kind of frequency that you're holding, because you are doing meditation for 30 minutes or however long, because you are practicing to remember that you are a projector and a co-creator, and that you are amplifying light upon the darkness in this worldly experience. Because you are holding that and you will willingly devote yourself to that time, you change the frequency. You do. That doesn't mean you bow out of all things and you never get involved. Some of you may choose that. It is for an individual soul's choices of incarnation for what that individual soul is learning. Now, to a certain extent, there is much that we have already said that we know that we have said just now in these pieces that are connectors to some of the things we have said before. The thing we see as you are moving through this time period, even as you would say this next month or 6 weeks or even 3 months into what we will tell you is moving a collective agreement towards what we will tell you is the 2020 year of 2020. When we say we see that, there is a marker at that year of alignments. There is changes that are moving into your frequency that you will have implemented. That changes will happen in through the conversation collectively. And here's what we want to say. We have, and this is very select how we say this. Select, is that right? We have said many times for many years, we have said this idea of we have come back to you. You are our past, we are your future. And there is many of you and many of us that have been participating for a little long lineage of timelines in different ways. You amplify the codes of light upon the plane and the planet in a lifetime, to a certain extent, with the agreed upon desire for the soul's incarnation to amplify the consciousness to remember the whole. There is a very large agreement here. And what is happening is you are moving through this kind of portal of time in your choices. And as you make these choices, you are creating this new future. Now, what we are saying to you is we are part of that for the remembrance of how many have chosen in the all-time, all-space awareness that there is, how should we say that? A choice point in individuals' lives. Choose the choice point for the light. This is something that we are saying to anyone and everyone who will listen from this day forward, from these days forward. Choose the light in any and all situations. Remember who you are. Pick the highest road, no matter what it looks like or how it seems it kind of could be a challenging road. Why we say is because there's choice points that have and can be made that shift a collective agreement. And you, we would say simply, you don't want it. And what we mean is not to scare you. That is not what we are saying or doing here. We are just highlighting that the more you choose the highest availability, the highest remembrance, the highest opportunity of your own spiritual advancement and growth, the highest ways you learn to forgive and love and open up and remember that all things are perfection in action in the worldly experience, even if it is a challenge. The reason we say that is because the more of you that are doing that, you are affecting the ways in which the amplification of the light is, in a sense, balancing what has been too much of the dark. And this is a choice point. All of you are leaping. You are making choices at this time. You are indeed making very long-term in your physical lifetime walk, though it is such a blink of an eye in the bigger picture, you are making very particular, bigger choices. So making these bigger, particular choices, really ask your heart, not your emotions, not your feelings about how things should or should not be, not from the small child place, but from the wise soul place. And sometimes we know that that is the hardest place to land for you. Sometimes we know that in that place you say, well, that would take a very big me and I'm just not quite there. So I'll take this other little road right here and I'll jump off here. And we say, pause right there. And ask your soul what you are capable of, really. And we don't mean this lightly, dear ones. We mean ask your soul what you are capable of, and pause. And listen to your soul, to the infinite, eternal intelligence of the life force of all that has ever been and all that will ever be. Not the one who says, too scary, too much, too big, I've got this childhood, I've got that past life experience, I've got this that happened to me last week that he did or they did or she did. However that voice comes up, know that that is not your soul voice. Your soul's voice speaks with wisdom and knowing, trust and assuredness, has the wiseness within to remind you of who you really are. This is not grandiosity. This is not grandioseness. This is not egoic superiority. This is remembering the truth of the soul of the incarnation. You would not be listening or doing the work in the life that you are living right now if this was not so. You can see those beings who are still on an evolutionary path to wake themselves up at a different stage than you. And that is the one who is carrying wisdom. When you can look at another and say, I see that. I don't judge that. I just see, this one is making choices from that place. I know that place somewhere inside of me. I know that place. And yet, so when you step into the soul's voice, when you step into the soul's recognition, when the soul is moving through you at a consciousness level, streaming down the central column of your embodiment in the biology of the human experience of earthly remembrance, you activate something greater. When you hold that soul voice to your life, you express at a new level of consciousness, you become born again. You change the way the evolution has gone for you in this lifetime. And you look back, and we know we've spoken this and we say it, and it is happening for some of you each and every day at this time. You look to yesterday and you say, not even the same then as now. The evolutionary expansion and consciousness is happening at such an accelerated rate. Some of you are having a hard time keeping up with yourself. All we say for those moments is pause. Remember the sacred pause. Allow. Speak from your soul. Listen from your soul's essence. Have a relationship with the wisdom keeper within you. We say this activates the codes within you, activates the light quotient within you as the reflector of the reality that is your creation. So you are the reflector of the reality you are creating, and you are seeing that expressed outside of yourself. And we would ask, do you like the show? Do you like the movie you are projecting? Do you need a costume change altogether? Do you need to wake up Sleeping Beauty? Ha! We say it is time for you to remember these things and who you really are. Carrying to walk around in the soul's embodiment like this is the next level of human consciousness. It is an activation that does need its stabilization. But first you must make your way, bring yourself to the edge. You take your toes to the edge. You say, this is something new. I am choosing a new way. A new part of me is being born here. I will leap. I will trust. I will have faith. I will remember my soul's voice. I will amplify the light. I will choose the higher roads, the lighted roads that say, yes, this is the way. This is the way. This is the way. No matter what that way feels and looks like, it comes from the soul's call. And when you do that, dear ones, you magnetize yourself to the right people, places, situations, experiences in the worldly form to reflect that which is the new magnetization of your living embodiment, and then you are a part of the new grid of life. You are literally creating the new patterns in the worldly experience of the golden age. This is the amplification of the golden expression of humanity's evolution. What we mean by that is the threads of consciousness are weaving, truly are weaving a new story upon your earth. And this is happening through and as you, and in the collective agreements, as you are making your way seemingly in tunnels by yourself or with others, you are creating new inroads. You are moving the new earth from the underworld up to the surface, to be born into something greater, to be amplified in a timeline where you say, I see this now, and my children and children's children and children's children are going to benefit for all that I give myself here in this time, all that I wake myself up for, all the new choices, the new costumes, the new identities, the new ways I am reborn again and again and again in a lifetime is the way of the new earth. This is what is happening upon your plane and your planet. This is what you are all doing. And so we are here to remind you again, this is how it goes. And we say we are so happy always for this kind of connection, touchstone way that we get to drop in these pieces and the codes of conversation, the way in which this lights up your soul and amplifies your heart. We remember to remind you too, that it is in the balancing the divine feminine and the divine masculine, for you carry all polarities, that you love and nurture the ways in which the earthly experience does indeed nurture that too. So how it is you honor both sides of yourself, how it is that you come into the kind of alignment with both hemispheres of your own body's biological circuitry. You could say the right and left hemispheres of your brain, the way you become amplified into the super consciousness. This is super consciousness. Amplify the balance within you. Remember that there is no cutting off your masculine to embody the feminine. Remember that there is no cutting off the feminine to embody the masculine, that the need and the call and the desire in the balance is for the balance of all, that this is the greatest call. So even in the idea of the light will overtake the dark, really, essentially, there is a balancing. There is an equanimity that comes forth through the light amplifying so greatly. It does need to burn brighter, shine harder, bigger, take over to a certain degree for an extended period of we would say small time, that's not quite right. But what we mean by that is, yes, the big full light will come in and take over, and then it will balance out in a way that is much more supportive. And we say that begins with you. This is your primary job, if you will. We say all things are born from this, your amplification of healthy relationships, your new systems that you create in your worldly experience, be they money, be they business, be they the ways in which you interact with human beings, the way in which you create family systems, the way in which you create love systems, the way in which you embody how you care for and remember that the earth is a part of you and that she is a reflection of you just as much as your own reflection in the mirror, the way that you see a blade of grass and give gratitude simply for its expression of being a part of your movie screen, saying yes to all the ways in which you are a co-creator, amplifies how it is you hold the energies within the biological system and balance them for your own superconsciousness to wake you up as a soul. This is what you are doing. And we said it before, these years to come as you are moving through and you're making your way and then to the next 2 years of time, you are setting this kind of stage. There is things that will move into the spaces and the places of the timeline that will seem like they are harder or harsher, and yet know that there is a balancing happening. So call to the attention within you that there is no fear, that there is literally no death, and every part of the way you choose and make your walk upon the plane of the planet and the third dimensional timeline that you are choosing is right. The only thing you fear most of the time, even though some of you would say, well, no, I fear the things that could happen to me on the earth. And won't we say, yes, but ultimately that ultimately breaks down to the fear of not existing upon the earth. It means death for you and the ways in which the death experience could happen. Yes, some of you really fear those things as a touchstone of how it is that you choose. That's why we say back up, and pause. If you are the infinite intelligence, and we say, indeed, we are as you are. You are the creation principle. You move through the vibrational frequency of the worldly experience with the vibration and reflection and the creation ability of the physical embodiment of the life force of God energy, what we would say the true source energy of all that exists. You are that. And as you are that, you are remembering that you are that. And so pause when you have the moments of fear. Oh my goodness, what if I die here? What if this happens here? Oh, please, I'm scared of that. Don't want that to happen. Back up. For as you focus on that in any way, giving it any energy towards that idea, back up, you create it. Back up and just feel into the spaces of, well, what if? Because if I am, and I do believe I am coming to myself to the remembrance that I am eternal, that there is only life here, that this passing experience of this creation that I have wanted so much to play the game in passes, and this body temple that I am lovingly, happily, joyfully, thankfully experiencing chooses this expression to be gone. Am I eternal? Will this continue on? Will I come again? Yes, 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 yes. So back up and play the game with the kind of consciousness that knows that has not the fear and the placements of fear to push you into places where You don't have to go. You don't even have to experience when you realize the game. The way in which you are feeding yourself really matters. And we mean energetically, physically, emotionally, spirit-wise. Are you speaking to the invisible realms? Well, of course you are. We're here with you now. And this is the way the expression comes through the physical form and the way in the body this time. And yet, when you're by yourself and you are not having this experience with us in this way, are you speaking with us? Are you calling in your divine assistance? Are you calling in the remembrance that there is so much more happening here in this time and space continuum, that all things are passing through, even what you see as this moment of the third dimension in the tunnel you are in? There is more happening here. You just don't have the eyes to see, but remember it with your soul. Remember it with the eyes and heart and the vibration of the soul. Magnetize yourself to the greatest creation game you have come to play, because this time is extraordinary, dear ones. See it for what it is. You are the amplification of the light force of creation. We say, be that. Remember that you are that. Reprogram yourself that you are that. Awaken and align and call to attention. Be in devotion with that, we say. And so that was a lot, we recognize. Mm-hmm. 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 And we are calibrating. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, then. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we are recognizing there is a we are going to indeed step aside for a moment, dearest ones. Strong energy moving through this space and a call for the speaking. Dearest ones, I am this one. I am the one you know, Divine Mother Mary. And I say in this moment, there is a deep call at this time. There is a piercing of the veil into the hearts of all who are waking, especially dearest ones. There is a piercing of the hearts of men and women. It is opening the conversation to wake you up into the divine light of your own remembrance. There is such a need at this time for the embodiment to hold love. There is compassion that is and moving into the space, a place where beings and humans are remembering to have forgiveness for each other in ways that will turn tides indeed, will open hearts and minds and shift people to where there is a new balance. It may appear I am saying the same thing, and yet there is an awareness that is a call to the center of your own heart, for this is where I stand, the way in which many of you feel and know me deeply in the recesses of the remembrance within your own bones, essentially. The sacred call from your heart to be here in this alignment of the times, that are happening upon your powerful timeline in the earth as you know it. I say to you with so much love, I am with you. I am standing so strong with you all in your own heart. I am landing there, helping you to remember the sacred agreements that you made for so many incarnations. I hold your heart, dear ones, for my heart is your heart. There is only love here in that. There is an incredible way that there is a rebirthing happening. A resurrection, absolutely. That is a new life coming to be born within your own hearts and minds. And I say to you, you will find new brothers and sisters. They will come and you will find them and they will find you. For it is a time where you are meant, my beautiful ones, to find more of the souls who are your family that you have made the agreements to be closer to be in connection with, to do the works with, to deepen and embody the places where the wounds have been but are being tended to with the balms of love and the balms and the medicines of kindness and forgiveness and love and compassion. I speak these words because they are a call to your own heart, the altar of your own heart, dear ones, for this recalibration and this new seeding that is awakening upon this planet in this collective human experience. Through the forces and the ways in which the earthly planes will shift, and the mother will call you home to yourself. The mother in the many faces of you, the many faces of the mother divine and the sacred feminine, and how it is she speaks through many, is that clarion call for your heart to expand. Oh, my loves, I say to you, let go and surrender to the sweetness and the softness and the blooming heart that is the call of the soul. How you move into these spaces really does set your tone. It opens gateways and portals. It moves you on to new tracks of life. I am with you. I am with you. My heart is your heart, beloved ones. Rest there, and I will reveal alongside you. Indeed, this too is a powerful agreement. I am here. I am here. I am here. And that is most powerfully to what you may say and say to yourself, like the mantra of your soul's remembering. I am here. I am here. I am here. And let that bloom into the flowering remembrance of the soul that is calling you forward. I stand with you. I stand with the world and the hearts of all men, women, and children. I love you all, indeed. Hi. Just balancing. Hang on. Wow. So, okay then. Mother Mary. Wow. Hold on. Let me just gather back. I don't know. Did you guys have questions with Osairah? I don't see any on the thing. So maybe no. Okay. Maybe not, because that was incredible. Okay, good. Yes. And it's 12:11, so pretty much close to exactly 1 hour. How perfect. Sometimes I feel like sometimes we go a little too long and people got to go, or it's just too much information. So I'm sure that this is just right. Okay, so questions. So many of you know that when I channel, I get really plugged in afterwards, especially it just amplifies the energy, and I'm super clairvoyantly plugged in, and I'm kind of getting this vision. Well, first of all, I'm getting a blue. Oh, she's so present. This force, this energy is so powerfully connected right now to all of us, to all of you who will listen again later or for the first time on the replay. Just soak in that. Maybe play it again and just soak in that. I'm soaking in that right now. I just want you to know, because I felt very powerful. And the transmission is, well, there's questions. Is there questions or thoughts? Anybody want to share any questions or thoughts? If you have any questions for me, that's fair. We can definitely do those as well. So you can type those in now if you want to. And if we didn't get to a question that you wanted, you can always email us and, the question ahead of time, and we can make sure that we even state it ahead of time. So it might even get asked in the beginning, with Osairah before, because sometimes they do ask for questions and sometimes they don't. So anyway, I really hope that this was just perfect for you for today, for where you are. Okay. And for all that might support you in the days and weeks to come as we move through this month of October. Let's see, just make a couple announcements. I'm feeling so sensitive, like so open. Just want you to know. That just felt super, super like a really huge blessing. And now, I don't remember the things or the things she says or what Osairah says very often. I just get sometimes vibrationally, I feel the essence, I feel the tone, I feel how I got affected by it. I sometimes see visions of the things they were talking about. And I am seeing kind of this thing about, I guess I'm going to say it like this, that, oh, thank you, Zonia. I'm seeing the earth, and I'm seeing almost like a blue blanket, maybe a gold blanket. So that's beautiful. So it feels like, oh, that feels like a balance. I really like that. I'm feeling like the gold kind of feels like Osairah to me. They're probably not just gold, but they feel like a gold essence to me. And then Mother Mary feels like the blue essence. And that's what I would say I'm seeing kind of energetically all around the earth, which means all around us. So start with yourself. I'm going to do that today. I'm just going to really cloak myself in blue and gold energy. And I'm also going to take some time. I feel so very opened by her and that whatever it is that she dropped in. And I'm going to take some time and do a little meditation or sitting. And maybe something else will come from that. In regards to things that are coming, there's a lot of things coming. So there's, just so you know, we're sending out an email soon with more of the things that are happening in, well, we also sent that out yesterday. So there's a live in-person channeling happening in Woodland Hills on Wednesday. Oh goodness, I think it's the 17th. I'm remembering that right, but it's on my website. And, or is it Wednesday? Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. Start to lose my mind here. And then we have, for the people who've done level 1, 2, and 3, we have a level 4 coming up. And then we also have a Divine Feminine program coming up. Now, how that gets moved into the space, we'll see. It's coming. It's supposed to happen starting in November. So just stay tuned. And then I just appreciate you all. I want you to know, thank you, Lilia. So glad you're here. If you're speaking and you're typing, thank you. But if you're not, thank you. Thank you for being here. And if you're on the replay, thank you so much for staying in connection and being on this community. And I just love you all. It would just be kind of sad and lonely without you here. So I'm happy to get to do this work. So happy. And the revving up of what is coming for us all is in each one of our cords. So I feel mine is just amping up and moving up, but we're also finishing out some pieces and some parts of what we have to still slough off in order to make the choices to step into those new parts of ourselves. And boy, I mean, not only am I getting that with Osairah and the Divine Feminine, but I'm just getting that in my body and my soul, that my mission and the work I'm here to do with Osairah, with you all, with the things I offer in the world is just, it's big and it's growing, and I'm on that track. So I just want to thank you all for those of you that are really doing the work out there in your own ways, and who are healing and who are growing and who are calling your attention to the next level, and who are working with me. I am honored and grateful. I couldn't do it if you didn't do it with me. So I love you and I appreciate you all. So until I see you again, whether or not that's throughout this month at some point or a couple times, or I see you at the new month on November's first video call, well, I love you and I appreciate you. I'm thinking of you, and I'm holding the vision for the greatest changes of the Most High. So much love and so much light, and I'll see you soon. Blessings.